All right. So thank you for being with us today. Do you want to tell us your name and a little bit about who you are?
My name is Diana Rosa. I'm co-director of the Equus Film Festival, but beyond that, I'm an equine journalist. I'm a writer and a photographer, and I bring those skills to the Equus Film Festival because when I come to places, I do a story afterwards, collect a lot of photos during the way. So my background has helped me a lot to do what I'm doing here with the Equus Film Festival.
How did you get into your background? So what? I guess there's two pieces, right? I mean, so you've done a lot of photojournalism, and then you also have connected that with the horses and the concepts of horses surrounding them. So like, could you walk me through a little bit about how you got to that point?
Sure. I mean, the probably the where it's brought me, and I'll go back after that, is to cover 8 Olympic Games and 8 World Equestrian Games, and to go to over 30 countries, either invited by the country, by the tourist board, or what have you, to do stories about horses. But it really all began when I was actually running a barn, a horse barn, for 13 years. And one day, a gentleman came up and said, "We're looking for somebody to write a horse column for a sports publication. Do you know of anybody?" And I said, "I'll do it." I mean, I had just gotten out of college. I was a language major. I was now running this horse barn, which I hadn't expected to do. So I started that. And after I started to do that, I said, "Why don't we start a horse magazine?" So then we did a horse magazine. I became editor of that. And I ran the barn for 13 years. I was editor of a horse magazine for 13 years. And then I moved on with my life. So I started to work in the PR field because being an equine journalist, um, doing this horse thing, I covered a lot of events. And I sort of got the feeling that, when I was going to these events, they weren't giving me what I needed. I wanted a fast fax, which gave me the basic information. So I started, that's probably, if you look way back, I'm the one that started the fast facts. And I wanted a more in-depth press kit. So then I got into that, and then I started my own PR firm that was equine focused. And over the years, I worked with the National Horse Show when it was at Madison Square Garden, the Washington International Horse Show. I've done 3 movies, Spirit, Flicka, and Dreamer. So I worked with DreamWorks and Fox. And then I did all these different travels, and that's what also brought me to my first Olympic Games, which was like my dream come true, to go to Korea and cover the games and actually be right there. When you go and cover an Olympic Games, yeah, the days are long. You're getting 2 hours sleep a night for 2 weeks, which is tough. But you will never forget, when you look back at those photos, where you took that photo and who that rider was, and the fact that you were right there. When I did the Olympics, the London Olympic Games, there, Kate and William and Harry, they were all up in the stand there. And so there are those kinds of memories that I think come back to you. But that's really how it all developed. And then how I got involved with the Equus Film Festival was as an equine journalist. I I heard that there was going to be an Equus Film Festival in New York City, and I went to see it. And I thought, wow, this is a really cool idea. But my background of being a PR person and all that, I felt that there were tweaks that I could help with. Where a place to interview the filmmakers and what have you. So I chatted with Lisa. We got on the phone, and we haven't stopped talking. So here we are. This is going to be the 6th Equus Film Festival, and I've been there. This will be my 4th year. So we've just, together, Lisa does a lot of handling the films. I do a lot of the coverage type stuff, and together we organize the events, and that's how I got to where I am.
So long, extensive background in this field, and expertise and all that's there. So as an equine journalist, like that long background you have as an equine journalist, what stories have you told? If you don't mind me asking, like a couple specific, either like photo essays or films. Like, can you tell me about some stories that you've told?
You know, when I was at the Barcelona Olympic Games, Michael Matz was one of the competitors at that point, and I was working for USA Today. And so a lot of times I freelance for horse publications, but in that case I was assigned with them. And he was in that Sioux City, Iowa airplane crash and survived with his now wife. The two of them were in that crash and survived. So I remember doing that interview. But over the years, I think one of my favorite things is profiles. Is, you know, lots of times when, I don't care what kind of sports person you are, you get into how many bowls you've hit or how many, you know, awards you've won. And in the horse world, it's, you know, how many horses the name of the horse, the award you won, how many times you've been champion or won a class. I don't like to do any of that. I like a paragraph on that, and I want to get to know you. I want to get to know the person. I want to get behind the scenes, and I want them to talk about themselves. You know, so those are really the kind of stories that I enjoy doing the most, because you kind of get that in-depth view. But I also love the on-camera part. I love emceeing for the Equus Film Festival. I love doing a welcome party where all these filmmakers are coming up and talking about their story. And they get up, and I can, you know, I can MC that event and listen to these stories about how they developed their movies or their books or their art. And, you know, they're doing the interviews after the films where you speak to the filmmaker and you get that story of how they developed the film and the different trials and tribulations they went through. You know, you look at the film on the screen and you think, wow, this is a cool film. That film might have taken them 6 years to do. And during that time, there might have been a death or, you know, or something that stopped that film in the middle, or a wonderful story about, you know, an actress that was involved, what have you. So I really enjoy that part of the equine journalist that's not necessarily about putting it on paper. And I also love to capture the photos, because when I go back and I look at those photos, it brings me back to when I took that photo.
Well, it's cool that you like really enjoy kind of the personal aspect of this profession, and I think that's, you know, interesting and neat, because like we have this Equus Film Festival that's, you know, kind of the local film festival. One of the stops is here at Meadville. How do you see the Equus Film Festival expanding as you guys continue? Like you said, you're in your 6th year. And then how do you kind of see it expanding, and or at least how would you like to see it expand?
You know, just even being here in Meadville, I love this whole community concept. So to me, that's what we're all about. We're all about, I did the PR for the Hampton Classic for many years. And that was your entertainment. That was your Broadway production. That was your movie. And you then brought your guests to come and see that. But there's also a trade fair, and there's also town to go to, and there's great restaurants and what have you. And that's Meadville. That's what's been happening here for these couple of days. You feel that community feeling, and that's what I want for the Equus Film Festival, and that's what's been happening. So we have our annual event in November every year, and that's when a lot of the filmmakers come from all over the world. New York City is a huge draw. So when you have all of these filmmakers coming in and you can have them actually talk about that, that's wonderful. And that's our chance to give the Winnie Awards out. And then we take those Winnie Award with us to the different tour stops. So we've got our winners here in Meadville. We've got them in South Carolina. We've got them in California. I'm on the board of the American Horse Publication. We're going to show one of our films there. I'm going to actually be speaking to one of the filmmakers that goes there. So that's that extension of having the tour stops is what I love about the Equus Film Festival, because it's not just one time a year. It's all year long. And I've always been a believer that you want to bring the tour stop to places that are going to be bigger, that are going to be a community, that are going to have the Equus Film Festival as the nucleus, but they are going to think about all different things that they can build around it. And that's what's been done here. That's what's been done in South Carolina with Julianne Neal. And then there are the other perks. We were in the World Cup 2 years ago, I think that was. That's huge. The World Cup is an event that happens all over the world. So for the Equus Film Festival to be part of that was really fabulous. And our next thing is going to be the World Equestrian Games. You can't beat that. To be able to give these filmmakers the chance to be seen by people from all over the world. That's great for the Equus Film Festival, but that's why Lisa and I do it, because we do it because we love the fact that we can give these filmmakers a platform. You know, that saying, come out and watch the film. There it is. We can give them a chance to be on the silver screen, on that big screen, and have people in the seats watching them. And so my ultimate goal is to have those theaters packed. It takes time. It's a concept. It's a new development, and we've got to get people to come back to the theater because, you know, seeing 10 people in a theater has nothing to do with a film festival. Our theaters nowadays, when you go to them with the big films, sometimes there are very few people. But we want to kind of bring it back to, you know, those days when you loved going and they're crowded, and we're seeing more and more of that now. So that's really my ultimate goal for the Equus Film Festival.
And I think that's an excellent concluding note. I think that's very profound. But I want to give you the chance to say anything else you may want to say to the audiences about the festival or just about anything we just talked about.
You know, I'm going to repeat, one thing is to get out there and come and see the films, but also think about a film that you maybe dreamed of doing, and think about doing it. It's possible with today's modern, you know, the cameras and the iPhones and the any kind of phone or laptop or tablet. You can actually do it if you know how to work these different things. And you can do a 30-second commercial, you can do a 20-minute short, you can do a 90-minute feature, you can do a fun thing. So also think about that side about it. That side. Now you might have a place, if it's based around a horse, to actually showcase your film. So think about getting out there and doing that.